Listen, also talking about different communities of Americans, a growing number of first-generation Gen Z Americans are actually leaving the country, or they're seriously considering it. They say that many factors have ultimately caused them to feel less hopeful.
The issue has become very popular on TikTok, with many Gen Zers going on viral rants about leaving the U.S. behind. NBC Stay Tuned digital reporter Maya Eaglen joins us now with more. So first, Maya, what are the main stressors for these Gen Zers? And what did you hear from others who are considering leaving the USA? It's very interesting when you look at kind of their patriotism, the level of connection they feel with this country.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a stressful time for everyone, but especially for Gen Z right now. The top issue is cost of living and financial stress. We know that there is student debt that Gen Zers are paying off. Also, the quality of life. I'm hearing a lot of frustrations with the political climate, as you all just mentioned, too. And there's also the sense of isolation, a desire for cultural connection that is pretty hard to get here in the U.S. in an authentic way for a lot of people. I interviewed Rania Sala, who's a first gen, moving to Turkey. I interviewed her on the day she was packing up her apartment in Virginia. Here's some of what she had to say.
I thought I would fall in love with America and the American dream of progressing and making something of yourself and feeling proud. I came to the realization recently that I actually didn't want this life. In some ways it's very disappointing, but in other ways I'm very accepting of that dream being dead, and I'm just ready to make new dreams.
Wow. Yeah, so a lot of folks kind of giving up the fantasy of the American dream and willing to try life in another country that they never had, but their parents had.
It's interesting they said they couldn't find cultural connections here. I'm curious what is behind that? What do they mean?
Yeah, I think it's just honestly finding those communities that are widespread and genuine in a way that really makes them feel like home. Their parents were able to grow up in these countries like Antigua and Vietnam, from the people that I spoke to, but they aren't able to find that sense of broad community in an authentic way here.
So interesting, because we talk about social media and how everybody's so connected and yet they feel isolated at the same time.
Yeah.
So Rania is now in Turkey. You've stayed in touch with her. How is she doing? And also talk about the guilt that some of these young people feel about leaving America.
Right. Rania's doing really well. I spoke to her this week to get an update on the election news. She was really happy to be removed from American politics. But she says that the sense of guilt to step away from the American dream is really something that she grapples with, but acknowledges the privilege in being able to do so.
Right. That's true.
Maya Eaglen, our NBC Stay Tuned digital reporter. We love your stories. Thank you for sharing them with us.
Thank you, Maya.